me, Triple G, and welcome back to another video. And happy Halloween! Today I'm going to show you guys how you can create your own Halloween prosthetics. Something to spice up your Halloween look for the whatever you got going on. You going to a party, you going trick-or-treating, I don't know, whatever else you want to do on Halloween. This is how you can spice up your costume, no matter what your costume is. So if you're interested, continue watching. So today, like I said, we are going to be making your own prosthetics at home. It is quite similar to how we made the scar wax at home. If you want to see that video, click right here or right here. It'll be in one of the corners. Click right there to see that video. That'll also help spice up your Halloween costume, no matter what it is, especially if you want to add a little gore. It's going to be great. But anyways, back to this. So, of course, you'll need some flour, all-purpose flour, because sometimes different flours has different consistencies and it'll turn out different. So I always use all-purpose. It's the smoothest. Of course, liquid latex. This is the kind I have. I like to use the clear liquid latex. There is a difference. Most of them you'll find is clear, so yeah, right off Amazon. And also some sponges, like some sponge wedges that you see here. And you'll need a plate or something that's just like something hard and that has like ceramic that's kind of plasticky. You don't want nothing like papery or like that doesn't have like a coating, because it won't be easy to like lift the finished product off of it if it's not. So keep that in mind. Alright guys, let's get right into it. So first we're gonna start off, actually right before we start, make sure you have something to stir with too. Today I'll be using my spatula. Get this right off of Amazon as well. Okay, so first you want to start with adding some flour into your bowl. I'm not gonna make a huge prosthetic today, so it won't be like a ton of flour. As I go, if I need to add more, I will. Same as the liquid latex. It just really depends on how huge you want your prosthetic to be. So now that we have our flour in the bowl, we're going to put a little bit of liquid latex in. We're just going to pour a little bit in at a time and stir and see how it's going. This part is very important though. I can already tell that's not enough. This part is very important because if you don't have enough liquid latex, or if you have too much liquid latex, in this instance, can't really tell until you fully start mixing, but if it's looking really chunky, add more liquid latex, because what will happen is, hold on, I will show you guys in a second. When you're making this, you kind of want like a thick paste, like a little on the liquidier side, just a tad on the liquidier side, but you don't want it too thick either. Right now it's still a little too thick, so we're gonna add some more. This does take up, depending on how big you're wanting your prosthetic to be, it can take a lot to make, but it does go a long way, because you saw how much flour I had. It wasn't too much, and all you needed to do was add the liquid latex. This is a little too thick, so I'm gonna add some more. The more you pour, the more it will make. And you see, I accidentally got a little bit on this towel. Please lay down the towel wherever you're doing this, because depending on what you're doing it on, liquid latex is hard to get out, like I was saying before. Like carpet, I said hair, brushes with like bristles, it's very hard to get out, and it hurts, like if you get it in your hair. So just be careful, guys, with wet liquid latex specifically. All right, I added a tiny bit more liquid latex, and I'm liking this texture. It's not going to be 100% smooth, like as if you were making pancakes, And that's not like the point anyway. You want it like mixed up enough so it's like not like random flower pockets, but it's not going to be like perfectly smooth either. I'm gonna add a tiny bit more. And make sure you're working quick, guys, because once liquid latex starts to set, it gets rock solid. And with something like with a lot of mass like this, it'll become hard as a rock like this. This was my very first attempt. It's rock solid, and you don't want this. You don't want this. That was what happened to me a few years ago when I first tried. And you should have saw my reaction. I was like, what is this? So yes, to work fairly quickly. Also, make sure you're working with utensils and bowls that you 100% don't care about, because I mean, you don't want to put this in your nice stuff. You can peel it off, but I wouldn't recommend it. All right, guys, we have a plate under our bowl now because we are about to put this on our plate. This is a plate that I've used for making prosthetics and makeup related stuff. So it still has a little bit of sticky stuff and just product that it was hard to get off. That's why I said make sure you use something that you don't fully care about, because it is hard to get liquid latex and stuff like that off fully sometimes. So this is the part where you're going to like become a little bit of a sculptor and basically shape what you want. Basically shape out what you want to be on your skin. So today I'm going to be making a trypophobia prosthetic, one of my biggest, I guess, fears, since it is a phobia, and I hate holes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit on here. It's okay if it's on your skin, don't worry. And see, it's already, if you can't tell, it's already starting to solidify. So work quickly. I don't want this to be a humongous prosthetic, so I'm not going to use all of it, but it's nice to know that it's nice for you guys to know that a little bit of flour will go a long way. So don't like put a ton of flour. And this is, you don't want it to be too tall, so if you put a little bit too much on your plate, you could take it off and reshape. You don't want it too like tall in height, because then it will start looking a little bulky once you put it on your skin. Spread it out some. If you need to take off a little more, you can do so. So once you have gotten the base of what you want, this is when you start to create the details of everything. So I'm gonna flatten it out a little more, and I'm gonna use this end now, and I'm gonna create holes. It's okay if you start seeing the plate under it, because on the next step I will show you guys exactly what you'll need to do. I'm going to create holes that are a little bit bigger. Some of them are going to be a little smaller. You can make it like peek up like that so it's a little more texture. Let me wipe this off. You can add a little bit more of your mixture in here if that'll help you to create exactly what you want. It's totally up to you. You can also do this trypophobia type thing with scar wax as well. Even the scar wax that I showed you how to make from scratch. I also have this spatula as well that's more of like a scoop and pointy, so that can help. That actually helps a lot more if you're gonna do something like this. Yeah. I don't even know why I was thinking using the bottom of the other thing. We live and we learn, we live and we learn. All right, guys, now that we have the shape that we want, At this point, you're going to get back out your liquid latex. And we're not going to just pour directly on, because this is very important. You want everything about this layer of liquid latex to be thin, because this is how you're going to create that blend into your skin when you're putting it on later. So I'm going to pour a little bit of liquid latex on this sticky note that I have, because I only need a little at a time. And I'm going to take some, just a little bit like this, scoop, and then we're going to just drip it around. Make sure it's thin, guys, because if it's too thick, it's going to be harder to blend into your skin, and it's not going to look as natural. Like in that photo I showed you guys earlier, I will pull that photo back up so you guys can see. I made the edges a little too thick. It was my very first time, so I wasn't beating myself about it. It still looked really cool, and I really liked it. So don't get me wrong, if you make it a little too thick, it's not the end of the world or nothing. But yeah, so thin, and you can like swift out lightly, like so. And do this all around the perimeter. So now once you have it all around the perimeter thinly, I'm going to start filling in, wait, I didn't want that. Okay. I'm going to start filling in the little holes very lightly. We don't want to fill it up. We just want to create that layer so that it's strong enough to stay on your skin, especially the ones that are like exposed by the plate. So very lightly put a little bit at the bottom of each hole that is exposing the plate or whatever you are creating this on. And if you get a little bit too much on there, just dab off your sponge or get a new sponge and almost like soak it back up, like so. But I should also say, you also don't want it too thin either, because once this is all like dried up and ready to put on, and you're lifting it off of the plate or whatever you're making this on, you don't want it to like rip and tear, because it wasn't like firm enough either. So keep that in mind as well. Also make sure that when you're putting this your liquid latex around the perimeter, make sure your perimeter is wide enough so when it's time to peel this off of the surface of the plate or whatever, you want to have enough of a lip before you start peeling the actual product. More rip preventing measures. So I'm gonna just add a little bit more before it fully dries. Make sure it's thin. And as I am doing this, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please like and subscribe and add a comment. That'll be greatly appreciated. Also, if you're interested in gaming, I have been playing Life is Strange True Colors and Dark Pictures Anthology House of Ashes, so you can check that out. I'll put like a little clickable thing somewhere in the corner, somewhere. Alright guys, this is our semi-final product. We're going to let this dry for up to 24 hours. It would probably be done in about 8, but I like to give it a little extra time to make sure that it's still not mushy and mucky on the inside of it. You want it to be fully solidified before you put this on, especially if you're going to be wearing it for long periods of time. So make sure you give yourself time to do this as well. I also wanted to add that drying times for your prosthetic will also depend on how thick and how big it is, of course. So really just like, it will take, no matter how big or small, it will definitely take at least 2 hours. And that's if it's like a really small and thin one. So just like every other 2 hours, you can go and like tap it and see if it's still like sticky, of course, and very lightly tap it, because if you harshly push it a little too hard, well, of course don't push it too hard, but I mean like enough, it'll like stick to your finger and like lift, and it'll ruin your design. We don't want that. I did that the first time and I was extra mad, so we don't want that. And of course you can look at it and tell, especially with clear liquid latex, you can see it's already starting to dry on the real thin edges. It's a completely different color than the middle. It'll all like turn this like darkish, nudish, brownish color all over it. So yeah. But yeah, that is how you make your own prosthetics from scratch. I hope it was easy to follow. And in the next video or the next clip, we'll see what happens. I will show you guys how to actually like put it on your skin, and I will show you a look that I personally will create with the specific prosthetic that I made right here. So until next time, or until the next clip, bye, or transition.